I'm Patrick Bailey with iQlist.com. Today is January 8th, 2019, and this video I'm going to be going over making 3D printed decals. In my case, I'm making them for a hard hat. Okay, so a little tiny bit of background. So we are actually having a house built right now, which is going to be finished hopefully this next summer. And so as part of that, we go on the property and they prefer us to have hard hats. So for fun and for kicks, and a little because we need it, for Christmas, I went and bought a hard hat for myself and my wife and my mother-in-law to kind of give away as Christmas presents. But I thought, well, that's a little boring. Wouldn't it be nice to put our names on them or something? And so I came up with the, see if I get on this side. Oh, there we go. So I came up with the idea is it'd be kind of easy and simple to 3D print some name tags because I can make them really thin. And I don't have a multicolored printer, but I can change the filament by layers so that I could, do like a white background and then do the text over it and then glue it on. So I kind of went a little crazy with it. As you can probably see, I've got my little IQ list symbol I printed out. I've got my name. I even have a weeping angel. And I've got a few other things I want to stick on there. In fact, I'm intending to put another name on this side. My same name, just on two sides. So part of this episode, I'm going to be going over showing you how I made some of these things in Fusion 360. I'm also going to show you how I got stuck on, I got stuck. Oh, I'm also going to show you how I stuck them on, a rounded surface where I had to use a heat gun a little bit, not too much, but it actually worked pretty well. So I could actually get this name tag on there pretty well. And also I'm going to kind of ask anyone's opinion on how best to glue 3D prints to other objects. In this case, I'll go over what I did later on in this video where I'm just using super glue. But I also used some other glues where I actually printed out some decals to put on my own computer. I didn't use super glue, I used something else, which I'll go over, but I'm wondering about people's opinions on what kind of glues would be good to use with PLA to stick on different things, like on plastic, on a computer case, on whatever. So if anyone has any opinions, hey, voice them, because I did a little bit of research, but I'm still kind of new to this, so I'm kind of groping in the dark, but I'll go over what I did. Hopefully some of you have some, maybe have some better ideas than what I did. Okay, first, the Weeping Angel. So anyone who happens to be a Doctor Who fan might know, well, should know what a Weeping Angel is. It's a pretty cool thing. We're Doctor Who fans, and so I got this idea of printing out some decals to put on my helmet, and so I went around looking for a Weeping Angel that I was looking for an SVG file so I could import it into Fusion 360, but I couldn't quite find one. But what I did find, I found this, well, first, I put this out on Thingiverse. So I put this thing out on Thingiverse. It happens to be thing 3343144. I'll put it in the show notes. That I posted it on here. And so anyway, I was searching around. I finally found this site, and I'll put a link in the show notes here, Story Monster. And so this guy was trying to figure out how to make a Weeping Angel for a stitching machine, I guess, embroidery machine. So I came with this idea, and this is exactly what I wanted. Like, this looks pretty cool. So I went and found the picture, and here's a direct link to the picture, and I'll put that in the show notes. So all I had to do, and I've done this in some other videos, is in Fusion 360, you can import images. And once you import an image, you can actually it's simple to kind of trace over it. So here is the Weeping Angel I made, but I'll make another one really quickly, but I won't go into crazy detail. So here I have Fusion 360. Here I can create I don't need to create a sketch yet, do I? I can go insert, let me create a sketch. Create a sketch, and I think I need a rectangle to put it in, so I was a little more precise when I did this last time. Anyway, I'll make a rectangle here, and I'll say insert a attached canvas. And then I can go around and select this Weeping Angel that I did, so I can go, where are your helmets? And so I can go I downloaded this PNG file, there it is, hit it, and so it just goes right on here. Now I can, of course, adjust the size of this, and you want to get the size precise. I figured out what I wanted, how big I wanted to make it, and I made the rectangle that size. In this example, I'm not doing that. But anyway, you get to the size you want, and you hit OK, and then now, it's not a 3D object, but it's on there, and you can trace over it. So now I can go here, and I'm actually still in this sketch. Oops, stop. And so I can start to draw lines. So that's what I did. So L is for the line key. And so I just basically zoomed in and I drew. I won't do a very good job here. I really zoomed in and did a really detailed job But I went through, did every single little thing. And you can see, you get the idea. Now to show what I did over here with my finished job, if I go back to here, what I did, if I go look at this sketch, you see I drew every little single line there, kind of just line by line, a little bit of an overkill, but I got it all in there. And then after that, I chose the different areas to press pull. Now, what you want to do is, since we can change the colors, you want to press pull by layer. So in this case, the first layer, which I did 0.3 millimeters, I want to pull the entire thing. So here you can see, let me stop that sketch. I go through my history, there's my first layer. And so if I stop looking at sketches, you can see there's my 3D object. I pulled the entire thing. And the next layer is where I want to do the next accent, which is silver. And so in that case, I pull where all the silver and where all the white is. And I pulled that up an extra 0.2 millimeters, so I pull that up 0.5 millimeters. And you can see there is that section. Well, I guess you don't have to do that though. Depends on how you want to do it. No, you don't have to do that. Okay, you can just, I guess you don't have to because you could do it layer by layer. I guess I did. So anyway, I pulled that up because I am pulling from the base. So I guess I didn't have to actually pull the entire thing up 0.2 millimeters because every section I'm pulling up. Okay. But anyway, first 0.3 millimeters, in essence, everything, and then the 0.5 millimeters, the silver, and then the up to 0.7 millimeters is what I consider the white. And so you can see there's where I get all my fun layers. Oh, I can't really turn that. There we go. And so that's all there is to it. And then I brought it into my slicer and generated it. And in this case, I wanted to go 0.1 millimeters as my detail. And then I went up to 0.4 where it changes, and I set a change point here. And then go up to 0.6 and set a change point there. And so it'll print the first part, ask me to change colors, and then the second part, ask me to change colors, and I change it then too. So I go black, 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 silver, and then white. For two, everyone has at least 2 layers. The first one has 3 layers. No, 2 layers. Because the first layer you put down is actually 0.2 millimeters, I guess, no matter what you do. And then 0.3, and there we go. Doom, doom, doom. And the end result is you get something that looks like that. So, pretty cool. So, pretty simple to do. I had a lot of fun with that. Okay, so now next thing, a simple name tag. So let me go open up my simple name tag. Same thing again. So in this case, I made this little arch, and then I pulled the background up just 0.3 millimeters, and then I pulled everything around and the lettering an additional 0.2 millimeters, so 0.5 millimeters, and did the same thing. So pretty simple. The only thing that was a little fancy in here is the arch. The lettering on lettering in Fusion 360, as far as I can tell, there's no way to align your lettering over a curve. So you have to use something else to do that. So in my case, I'll let this, someone decided to print something. It's loud. So in my case, what I did is I found this tutorial over here, and I'll send a link in the show notes called How to Put Text on a Curve in Fusion 360. And what he did is he went and downloaded a program called Inkscape. Am I thinking correctly? Inkscape. What are you now?
In a millimeter or metric world.
No, I'm not going to.
I prefer to.
Anyway, he goes over it. So in there you can draw your text, and then you can save it as an SVG file, and then you can import the SVG file. So that's what I did to get that little angle. So pretty simple. And then after that, I went crazy because now I figured out that I can do SVG files because I wasn't quite. I had heard about SVG files. I knew kind of what SVG files were, but I hadn't fiddled with them in Fusion 360. So I actually got I have an American flag, I have a Wonder Woman symbol, which There we go. I printed out a little decal for my wife, a Wonder Woman symbol, which is pretty simple. 2 layers, just a yellow background and then a black outline. And so that is really, really simple. In fact, let me go, I'll open a new folder here to just kind of show, new file to show you kind of what you can do. And there are tons of SVG files out there on the internet. So if I look up something simple, like I did a Colorado flag. I will hold it up correctly. Oh, Colorado flag. And so if I say, let's do a Colorado flag. Let's do Colorado flag SVG. If you search for that, you should probably find a lot. And I found a lot. So in SVG, it looks like an image. It shows up as an image, but actually it's a defined image. You know, it defines where squares and colors and all that are. And so you can download these. And so I'll click on this and say save image as, and we'll see it's an SVG. And so I'll say, I'll call it video example so I don't get the other one. Boom. So I save that. And if I come back into Fusion, I should be able to insert an SVG. I can go get that, go find the file, and let's see, what do I call it? Video example. And put it on that plane. And I should be able to see, hit OK. Oh, just a big one. Oh, there we go. A little on the big side on that case. So you might want to, you may have to do this where you need to, you got more printing going on. You may have to resize it. So I'll hit the S key and search for, it's not resize, it's, it's not resize, it's not offset, it's, why can't I remember that? Let's go, there's one that's got sketch. Scale, there we go. Scale, how about scale? Hit scale, you can choose all that, select a point, I'll select the center point, and then we can shrink it down. I think. Okay, well, anyway, we'll go over that. But there's my flag, and so I can hit on it, and I'll say, okay, I want that. We can do this. So I want this this to be white. So we will extrude it. Well, this size is wrong. I need to fix the size. Size is wrong. It's going to be way too big. Scale, sketch scale. How about that? Okay, let me go figure that out. Okay, I think I finally remember what I did. So let me go back. I'm in the sketch. I undid what I did. Nope, stop sketch. It was too big. Let me create a sketch. And let me make a rectangle so I can help myself to size it later. So I'll choose a 2-point rectangle. And here I want it to be, let's say at most 40 by 50. Not that I have to use those, but that gives me a guide. And then I'll say insert SVG, and I'll choose that file again. And then now from here, you can see it's really big. Here, as I insert it, I can resize it. I can also move it. Grab that, and move it. And so I can see I'm still kind of on the big side. So grab that and say, that looks, there we go. That looks like a good size. Hit OK. And there we go. And so now I can come back in here and say, okay, that part and that part, there we go, are white. And so that's my base, and I want that to be 0.3 millimeters high. Press Q for my press pull tool and say 0.3. Boom. Oh, give me my sketches back. Boom. And the next thing, I have white, the next thing is blue. And so in this case, hit that, oops, there we go. Press Q for press pull. And so I can, there's different ways I can do this. I know 0.3 plus 0.2 is 0.5. So I can do 0.5. Or I can say 0.3 plus 0.2, and it'll do the math for you. So here's the blue. And the next one is going to be the red. So that one, that guy, there, and there are red. Press Q. And so I can say 0.3 plus 0.2 plus 0.2. There's that. And the last one is this yellow in the center here, but I also need to close it. So it's a little circle. Press Q, and so I say 0.3 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2. Boom. And there's my Colorado flag. And so now I can say 3D print, select that, and make the file. It's that simple. And then again, bring it into a slicer and slice it upright and print it. And so it works pretty good. It's also, you know, almost paper thin. So now before I go to the next step where I'm going to actually show you what I did to glue my technique, not that it's a perfect technique, but it's a technique. I just like to go over the numbers. Now in this case, I've got a little time-lapse video where I was printing this guy out, but it's almost not even worth going over the numbers. The only thing worthwhile is the time. With one switch out, this took about 28 minutes to print. But as far as cost goes, you know, this is less than a penny. It's such little amount of filament and such a little amount of electricity that I would be shocked if this cost a penny to print out. So your big factor there is just time. You know, this, I think, last time I did one of these, I think it was roughly about half an hour. This one, I kind of forget what it was. A little more detail, more changes, but not much more than half an hour-ish. So the big deal is the time. The cost, penny. I could probably do 10 or 20 of these for 5 cents. I mean, as far as material electricity costs, so nothing. So it's a lot of fun making these little decals. So with that, next thing I want to talk about glue. Okay, so I want to talk about glue. So I did a little research, and I found a few things here and there, but nothing that made me too excited about, oh yeah, this is the most convenient glue to work with what you're trying to do. The most convenient one I figured was super glue. It seemed to be okay. And what I wanted to do, two things. I wanted to glue to a PLA to a plastic helmet. And super glue did the job. I also used a heat gun to, deal with the curvature of this. But it did a good job. You know, I got all these little symbols on there. Life was good. And so that worked. It'd be nice to know anyone else's opinion on what you might suggest that might be better. That's convenient because I want these to be permanent in this case, and I want them to stay on there. Super glue seemed to work. It'd be much nicer if I had something that was a pin or something more easy to work with. But as far as results, I can't complain. The other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to put some of these, especially a Weeping Angel, onto my laptop. You know, everyone's putting stickers on the laptop, and I have avoided that trend for years, which is weird because I'm a software engineer. But, you know, recently I stuck a couple on there. My daughter thinks they're cute, and I thought, oh, this would be cool to print some unique things out and stick them on there. But I don't want to super glue things to my laptop. So I called my mom, who happens to be, you know, a crazy craft person. Does all kinds of things. I've done all kinds of stuff for years. And so she gave me a few suggestions. One she gave me was this one called Zig two-way glue. And it's interesting because it works two ways. It's got a little pin applicator, so it's really easy to work with. And you can watch some other videos on how to use it. But basically, you press it down, this little tip gets some glue in it, and then you start to, apply it to your material, which is kind of nice and convenient. It would have been nice if I had that for the super glue. I don't know if something like that exists, but that would be kind of nice because I could directly apply the little bit I could need. And it works. This works two ways. One, you can apply it to something and then stick it on, and they call that permanent. The other way is you apply it to something and you let it dry, which is what I did to this Colorado flag. And it may be hard to see, but it's like a little, there's a little glue on there. And kind of what it turns into at that point is a really weak sticky note. So I don't know if this is going to be off camera or not, but I have a little, oh, now it falls off. It's been working pretty fine for a while. So I can stick something on here and it sticks, kind of like a weak sticky note, but I can take it off. Now, doing it that way, that's not going to work for my laptop. They're going to be falling off everywhere. So I did glue my laptop with this. I did a few tests with it, and it seems like it's something I can take off. It may not be as convenient as what stickers use. And if anyone knows something that is simple, that has an applicator like this, and that works more like a sticker, where you could take it off someday, be nice to know. So this is where it'd be nice to have some opinions. But that's what I did for my laptop. Now, I also have a work laptop, which I am not doing that to, because I don't know. I don't trust it quite. I want something, if it was like a sticker where I know I could peel it off, this might be, but I don't know. But anyway, any opinions would be helpful. So with that, let me show my technique that I use to get this glued on to my helmet. Okay, for my simple technique. So I have my helmet here, and I've got my little guy here. So what I did is I got nice little pinchers to hold it on. Partially because I don't think I can glue this all in one go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the bottom half, and then start with the top half, and then when I get to the last little bit where I need to use the heat gun, I'll use the heat gun. So I'll kind of eyeball that. Get out my super glue. Now, last time I actually super glued inside. Don't super glue inside. You need to vent some things out. So I'll just get a little dab. I kind of overkilled it, I think, last time. And all I did was pinch that down. Then I let it be for actually about 2 minutes every single time. As I video here, I'll probably go a lot faster, so I may have to end up redoing this. But I pinch, let go for 2 minutes, and then I did it again right here, and I did it again here at the bottom. In this case, we'll probably let it go maybe 30 seconds. Okay, hopefully that holds for a while. And then I come under here and get the next little part, kind of in the center, do a little bit of dabs there, put it down. See, I'm not very good at this, I got a little goob there. And then again, hold it down for a couple minutes. But here I'll do it only for about 30 seconds. Okay, then I'll get this last part here on the edge, just on the bottom. Get some glue there. Put her down. And again, hold it down. Now, when I did this before, I did like 2 minutes, then I left this for 5 minutes. Total overkill, I know, but that's what I did. Here, I'll leave it for another 30 seconds. Because the idea is, on the bottom here, I can wrap pretty well, because nothing's curving yet, but you can see right now it's already popping up a little bit here. So I'm going to have to try to form it here. And so what I'm going to end up doing for this next section is kind of move my way along the top, glue, glue, and this last part, I'll kind of have my wrinkles a little bit where it's not going to fit quite right, and then I'll hit it with my heat gun. Okay. Okay, so glue this little side right here. Now in my case, I think, if I remember right, yeah, this doesn't reach far enough to get up there. So I was just carefully doing that with my fingers for a few seconds. Don't want to get your fingers glued, that's no fun. Okay, and now for the center part on the top, this is where it gets a little more tricky. Just get a little glue right there, and I just glued my fingers. And then kind of, I'm pressing that way so that this is nice over here, and the wrinkles are going to be hopefully more so at the end. And hold that. Okay, now for this last part, you can see I've kind of got a little wrinkle here, and I got a wrinkle here to try to get this last part in, to have this little bubble, which I don't want. So I'm going to use a heat gun, and for those of you who may be unfamiliar with a heat gun is like a hairdryer on steroids. This gets really, really hot really, really quickly, so be really, really careful. In fact, I kind of made some mistakes when I was doing upstairs. I hit it with a heat gun, but I kind of did it like this, and so I actually got I got a whiff of super glue fumes in my face, and that is not fun. Don't do that. Bad idea. You want to be in a well-ventilated area and kind of shoot away from you. Now with this heat gun, I could melt this helmet, but this helmet is a lot thicker than these little guys are pretty thin, so it doesn't take much to hit these. So here I got this example, a little flag, and you can see how thin it is, and if I hit it, it doesn't take... Oh. I can hit it real quick, and I can distort it pretty quick. It doesn't take much to hit it. And that was from cold, and now, you know, now this is going to cool off and it's going to stay in a weird shape. So you don't have to hit it much, I guess is my point I'm going to try to make on that. So now I'll put some glue under here on the last part, and then I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. Don't need to hit it much. That was probably almost too much. Oh. Come on. Yeah, that was probably almost too much. It's hard to film and do this at the same time, so... there you go. I didn't do a good job. I hit it too much. So you can see I got a little wrinkle in there. Yeah, I just messed myself up. I should have done even less than what I did. Probably half of that. Just kind of hit it and put it down. I wrinkled it too much with the heat gun. I might be able to... Yeah. See, when you're filming, that's when things don't work the way you plan, right? Okay, and we'll let that dry, and that did... It's curving, but you can see I hit the heat gun too long on that. Didn't need to go that long. Versus this side, it looks pretty good. I didn't hit it nearly as long, did the glue, a little more patient. But I guess if you get far enough away, it's not too bad. And maybe I could hit this with a heat gun a little bit more and kind of work with my hand, but anyway, that's one technique. And it worked well enough. So there you go, gluing stuff to hard hats. Hey, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we were doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.